The rain came down in needles, sharp, relentless, washing the grime off the cracked pavement of the old highway. A girl in a soaked university hoodie trudged along the side of the road, clutching her torn backpack against her chest. Her sneakers slapped against the puddles, splashing mud up her jeans. Every few steps, she looked behind her, eyes sharp, alert, though she tried to hide it. Her name was Leah Monroe, a quiet engineering student from the city university. She looked harmless, even fragile, the kind of girl who'd sit alone in a cafeteria corner, sketching designs in a notebook rather than gossiping. But that night, walking home after her late lab shift, something about her seemed off. Her expression wasn't fear. It was focus. The low growl of engines echoed from behind her. 3 motorbikes slowed down as they approached, their headlights slicing through the dark drizzle. The riders, all leather jackets, tattoos, and smirks, slowed to a crawl as they pulled up beside her. "Hey there, sweetheart," one called out, voice dripping with arrogance. "You lost?" Leah kept walking, pretending not to hear. Her pulse remained steady. The second biker revved his engine, circling around to block her path. Don't be like that. We're just trying to help." Leah stopped, finally lifting her gaze. The rain plastered her hair to her face, framing eyes that didn't match her small frame, eyes that looked calm, calculating, and cold. "I don't need help," she said softly. The first biker grinned. "Oh, I think you do." He swung his leg off the bike and approached her, boots splashing through the puddles. Leah didn't move. She just tilted her head slightly, watching him. "Listen, doll," he said, leaning close enough that she could smell the alcohol on his breath. "We can give you a ride. You just gotta." He didn't finish. In one swift motion, Leah stepped sideways, grabbed his wrist, and twisted. The sound, sharp and sickening, cracked through the rain as the man let out a howl, dropping to his knees. Before the others could react, Leah snatched something from her pocket, not a weapon, not at first glance, a small black device, about the size of a phone charger. "Step back," she said quietly. The second biker froze. "What the hell?" The device emitted a brief chirp, and within seconds, a blue light blinked on its surface. The air around them buzzed, faint but distinct, as though static electricity was building. The first biker tried to stand, clutching his wrist. "You think that toy's gonna save you?" he spat. Leah looked at him with a detached calm that sent a shiver through the air. "It's not a toy." She pressed a small button on the side. The next moment, his earpiece, a Bluetooth headset, sparked violently. He yanked it out with a curse. The same thing happened to the others, their bike's ignition systems sputtered and went dark. The engines coughed, then died completely. "What did you do?" Leah took a small step backward, not breaking eye contact. "Electromagnetic pulse generator. Homemade. Not powerful enough to take out a grid, but strong enough to fry your circuits." The second biker swore. "You little," he lunged. She sidestepped again, faster than they expected. The move wasn't something she learned from YouTube self-defense tutorials, it was military, precise, the kind that only came from intense training. She hit him square in the throat with the edge of her hand. He stumbled back, choking, clutching at his neck. The third one hesitated now. "Who the hell are you?" Leah's voice didn't rise, didn't waver. "Walk away." But he didn't. Ego and adrenaline clouded his judgment. He swung his helmet at her, aiming for her head. Leah ducked low, kicked his shin with a brutal snap, and when he bent forward in pain, she jammed her knee into his face. He hit the ground hard, his bike clattering over beside him. The rain continued to pour, washing away the mud and blood mixing at their feet. Leah exhaled, standing among the wreckage of leather and steel. Her hoodie clung to her frame, her breath steady. For a moment, there was silence, just the patter of rain and the faint crackle of her deactivated EMP device cooling down. She glanced down at the first biker still groaning on the ground. "You picked the wrong student." He looked up, disbelief twisting his features. "You're not just some kid. No, she said simply. Not anymore. Hours later, Leah sat in her small apartment, hair still damp, staring at the framed photograph on her desk, a man in uniform, smiling proudly with an arm around her shoulder. Captain Marcus Monroe, U.S. Army Special Operations. Her father. He'd died 2 years ago in an ambush overseas, the kind of classified mission the government never fully acknowledged. Leah had been 17. The news shattered her, not just because she lost her father, but because she realized how helpless she'd felt. She'd spent nights crying into his old uniform jacket, vowing she'd never be that weak again. So while her classmates partied, Leah trained. Every morning before sunrise, she ran, lifted, studied combat manuals. She learned electrical engineering not because it was trendy, but because she wanted to understand the weapons, the machines, the tools of control. Her father had once told her, "Knowledge isn't power, Leah. Applied knowledge is." And she applied it. At university, she worked under a research assistantship on drone technology. But behind that, she'd been quietly building and experimenting, not for grades, but for survival. The EMP device was one of her creations. She never planned to use it, until tonight. Still, her hands trembled slightly as she wiped the rain off her notebook. Not from fear. From adrenaline. From knowing how close she'd come. Her phone buzzed, a message from Detective Harass, the local officer who had taken an interest in her after a few incidents around campus where Leah had intervened in bullying and assault cases. Harass heard there was a disturbance near Route 12. "You okay?" She stared at the message for a long moment before typing back. "Leah, just rain and bad luck. I'm fine." He didn't reply immediately, but when he did, it was simple. "Harass, you remind me too much of your father sometimes. Be careful." She smiled faintly. "I'm trying," she whispered. The next day, news spread quickly. 3 bikers, members of a local gang, were found injured and stranded on Route 12. Their bikes had mysteriously short-circuited, and they refused to explain how. One had a broken wrist, another had a concussion. At the university cafeteria, whispers filled the air. "Did you hear? They said some girl took them out." "Yeah, right. 3 bikers? No way." Leah sat at her usual corner table, sipping coffee, pretending not to hear. Her friend Sam, a cheerful journalism major, dropped into the seat across from her. "You were out late last night, weren't you?" he asked, narrowing his eyes playfully. She shrugged. "Just walking home." Sam leaned closer. "You didn't see anything, did you?" Leah looked up, her expression unreadable. "I saw a few people make bad choices." Sam grinned, shaking his head. "You're such a mystery, Leah. Maybe that's for the best." But peace never lasted long for Leah. A few days later, as she was packing up from the lab, she noticed something strange. Her locker was slightly ajar, she never left it that way. Inside, her EMP prototype was missing. She froze. Only 2 people knew about it, her professor, Dr. Keller, and one other student assistant. Her heart raced as she rushed to Keller's office. He was sitting at his desk, typing. "Ah, Leah. I was hoping you'd stop by. I had a look at your latest project. Fascinating stuff. Where'd you learn those concepts?" Her jaw tightened. "Where's my device?" He smiled thinly. "Don't worry, it's safe. But you're working on something a bit too advanced for university-level clearance. I had to report it." Leah's stomach dropped. "You what?" He leaned back in his chair. "I'm sorry, but the university has policies. You can't just build military-grade tech without supervision." "Supervision," she repeated bitterly. "You mean control." His eyes hardened. "You're talented, Leah, but naive. Projects like yours don't belong in the hands of students. They belong to the people who can use them properly." Something inside Leah snapped. My father used to say the same thing, until he realized the people in control